my name is Dr. Hannah Hamlin, and I am a patient with type 1 diabetes. Welcome to my YouTube channel that is everything education and lifestyle with type 1 diabetes. I was diagnosed at age 13 during my very awkward years. I had a lot of big life changes. At that time, I had actually just moved from the UK to the United States. I was making friends, just kind of getting settled in a brand new culture when I found out that I had type 1 diabetes. And I found out in a primary care setting. I had a kind of a great experience not having to be hospitalized. My mom noticed that I was urinating very often, and she sent me to the primary care office just to kind of check out. She thought maybe I had a urinary tract infection. Turns out I had very high glucose in my urine. They did a blood sugar test. It was 520 or so at the time, and so I was sent immediately to an endocrinologist office before they closed because I was stable. I didn't need to go to the hospital. Really interesting experience from outpatient diagnosis. It's a lot less common, and so because I was able to go straight to the endocrinologist's office and get kind of what they call a stat appointment, we got there about 45 minutes before the office closed for the day, and so they were able to quickly teach me how to do insulin injections. They gave me my first one there in the office, sent me home with some insulin, a blood glucose tester, and some preliminary information about diabetes with a follow-up appointment in a couple of weeks. And they sent us this like type 1 diabetes DVD to watch to learn about it. And we got home that night and just kind of terrified, completely in shock, plugged this DVD in to watch, and it was in Spanish. So I remember my mom sitting in front of the TV, like with a dictionary, trying to convert some of the terms so that we could understand what to do. And really just not quite understanding what it meant for me, for my long-term health, what it meant for me as far as quality of life, what things would look like. I really didn't understand so many things, and found out over the course of the next couple years, to be honest. It wasn't something that I learned up front. All of a sudden, it was like I got these pieces about what diabetes meant for lifestyle for years after my diagnosis. And I think that so much of the education piece up front can prevent uncomfortable thoughts, uncomfortable limiting beliefs, uncomfortable situations where we don't quite know what to do or understand what's available for us for a life as we're creating a life with type 1 diabetes. Kind of what can we do? What are the limitations we need to hold ourselves to, if any? What things do we need to watch out for? There were so many questions I had. And so really this channel is designed to help you understand those things sooner rather than later. And I certainly do not have it all figured out. I have a happy, healthy life with diabetes now. I was able to make it through college and medical school with type 1 diabetes. I have pretty stable blood glucose levels that are most of the time in a non-diabetic range. And I'm able to do the things that I want to do regardless of living with diabetes. And I want to share the pieces that I found that have empowered me to get to where I am with you. So that's really what we're here for today. But my diagnosis, one of the hardest parts for me wasn't just the having to do the injections, having to prick my finger before continuous glucose monitors. It was the understanding how to talk to my peers about it. It was the understanding what type of life I could have if I could do things like go to medical school with diabetes. I remember thinking that I wanted to, but not being sure if somebody like me could go through a training process that rigorous. I remember having questions about if I could have a family with diabetes. That wasn't until kind of mid-college that I figured out you could have kids with diabetes. There were so many things that I learned later on. And the hardest part was the mindset. The hardest part was the times that I let myself feel like a victim to the disease, where I was allowing myself to think, woe is me, this sucks, it wasn't fair, I didn't deserve this, why me? All of those kind of thought processes really led me down the road of feeling, frankly, pretty depressed about it and not feeling empowered and feeling kind of confused as to why I had to be so different than my friends, why I had to have things be so much harder when I was studying for my big test in medical school. And what I learned is that when you can shift your mindset about diabetes, when you can find the good in it, when I could learn to see that there was so much within my control, that there was so much within my power for creating a happy, healthy life, that is when I was able to start finding it. And so part of this channel is designed to teach you to understand what type 1 diabetes is, understand the nuance of the technology that's available, understand the important things that are helpful to know ahead of time, like what pregnancy with diabetes can look like, what are those outcomes, what is DKA, really understanding the science behind things, but also understanding the parts of living a life with diabetes that can be the more challenging, understanding the mindset behind it. That was helpful for me to start feeling more empowered living with this disease. Understanding how we can talk to our friends in a way that's empowering and doesn't come across as overwhelming or offensive or how we can talk to our friends that doesn't come across as overwhelming or defensive or victim mindset when we're teaching them about diabetes. How we can answer questions at the beach when we're in a bikini wearing an insulin pump and someone asks you if it's a smoking cessation patch. Like, how do you navigate that? How do you go to Six Flags with a cooler if you have insulin injections? Like, what about college signups? And how do you figure out creating your college schedule if you know you're gonna have to be conscious about not skipping meals because it can cause lows for you? How do you navigate figuring out how to exercise in a way that feels good for you, in a way that you're not constantly on the diabetes roller coaster around your movement? How to navigate talking to your school nurse or telling the other moms about your daughter before she goes to a sleepover that she might need to wake up in the middle of the night to test. How do you have those conversations? That's what we're here for. We're here for the lifestyle piece. We're here for the community and the connection and the real life parts of living with type 1 diabetes. So I am super, super excited to do this. And as part of my excitement, I would love it if you guys could comment below with questions that you have, things that you've thought of, unanswered thoughts, concerns that you might be having, things that you maybe have looked up online but haven't been able to find answers for, or questions maybe that you've had about life with diabetes that have been challenging for you to understand. Please send me your questions. Let me know how I can help you. If there's anything I can share that would be beneficial, that is helpful within the med-legal side of things, I'm happy to do it. That being said, I do have some links that would be great if you'd like to check out below. My website, drhannahhamlin.com, has an email list. And if you're interested in staying up to date with my YouTube videos, not just through YouTube notifications, but through email notifications, please sign up for my email list. It keeps us in contact. I will give you a notification through email anytime I have a new video out, so you can see if it's one of a topic of interest for you. And anytime I do something new with my practice, launch a new online course, or publish a new ebook, all of that comes to you, so you'll be able to understand what resources are out there to help you through your journey with type 1 diabetes. Thanks so much.